Federal Reserve Chair Jay Powell indicating in remarks yesterday that the labor market, he says, is cooling off, and an unexpected weakening in the labor market could prompt the Fed to consider rate cuts. Joining us right now is Alan Guarino. He's a Korn Ferry vice chairman. Alan, we looked at the markets moving yesterday. Do you think the markets are moving yesterday on Jay Powell, or are they moving on Donald Trump?
Well, I'm definitely not an economist, and I'm definitely not a political commentator, so that's a tough one. I would say that if being a market-focused guy, I got to say Powell is probably the prompt.
And what is your sense now, then, about when a cut may come and how many this year?
Well, I think 6 months ago I would have told you we wouldn't have a cut this year. I think we're going to have a cut. I think the market expects a cut, and it's probably warranted. But again, not being an economist, I can't say for sure. I think it comes certainly before the end of the year.
Certainly before the end of the year. Do you think it comes before the election?
That's a tough one. Boy, that's kind of like playing chicken. I would say after.
Okay.
I'll go on record. Let's see how I do.
And is that a function of politics, you think, or is that a function of just how the economy may have to weaken first to get there?
Well, I'm a realist, so I'd hate to say that politics plays a part, but it does. So again, not being a political commentator, tough to predict. Right. I'd like to think market forces and the Fed does what it needs to do regardless of politics.
Okay, let's talk about the connection between what Jay Powell may do with the labor market, hiring and the like, and what you think the unemployment rate will actually have to go to maybe force his hand.
Well, I think, look, they have the dual mandate, and certainly the inflation issue is I don't think yet solved. I don't think the genie's back in the bottle there. We're over 4% now. I think that's healthy. Obviously, look, overheated markets always have to correct. So dramatically low unemployment is actually not a good thing. You know, markets like consistent level performance. So what we have now is, I think, a reversion to the mean. And I think that we're in a place now where unemployment is reasonable enough that a rate cut wouldn't be out of the question.
In terms of hiring, what are you seeing?
So, we just did the Korn Ferry Workforce 2024 report, and what we looked at was what keeps people in jobs and what people want when they go for a new job. What we're seeing is, what I'd like to call sort of stop-and-go traffic. So, if the Great Resignation was a high-speed highway of hiring activity, we are now in a stop-and-go traffic activity pace. And it's not surprising, right? As I said, markets correct. So we had an overheated market of job movement in 2022, hugely robust. We digested it in 23. And now I think we're feeling the aftershock of the Great Resignation, where there was a lot of movement. So what are we seeing? We're seeing people wanting to move. People are still unhappy with the work environment. Leadership is the number one driver to me. I call it leadership capital. That thing deployed properly is the most powerful thing in getting a company to grow and returning value to shareholders. And without good leadership, people want to make a move. They're not happy. They're not motivated. So we have people who want to move, but we have them stuck. So I would say we have a bit of a stuck-in-place job market right now.
Okay, but that then relates, by the way, back to the Federal Reserve, don't you think?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you believe that a rate cut drives hiring activity and growth, then the answer is sure. But then again, also, does that create an artificial stimulus? And then, right. Then a bubble and then a correction again. It's delicate.
Let me ask you, you talked about moving. Let's talk actually a mobility question, which is to say there are a lot of people who feel locked in their homes, which is to say they're locked at a certain mortgage rate. They can't sell because even if they're going to be able to buy a property for less money, they're going to have higher monthly mortgage, and as a result, you're not seeing people move around the country the way they used to.
No way. You're not seeing people move for a bunch of reasons. One, certainly that one. They can, if they can sell their house, they are not going to have an attractive buying transaction given rates and giving the lack of inventory. But also, people have gotten used to the idea that I can get my job done from anywhere. And I do have a bit of a standoff between employers right now saying, I want you in, pick a city, New York, Dallas, Singapore, London, and the employee saying, why? I'll be there 3 days a week. I'll be there once every other week for the month.
Right.
I'm going to keep my family and myself in my home right now, and I'll do my job around the world remotely, and I'll travel when I have to.